So if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering, can all cash buyers in New York City get better prices when purchasing a property? Okay, so this answer is not as straightforward as it may seem. The answer really is not always, but typically. So in any real estate transaction, cash is always king. That's what the saying is, right? Cash typically gets people better prices because they figure that the person selling the property then doesn't have to deal with all the contingencies that come with a mortgage loan, and that it's going to be more of a guaranteed sale to purchase with cash than it is going to be through a bank. And also at the same time, it's also typically much quicker to purchase with cash than with a bank, especially in New York City. If we're talking about a co-op or condo board, boards typically love to see cash purchases because it means that the person is very liquid. So board associations are always trying to protect the units in their building. What does that mean? So that means that they want to make sure that people can actually afford the units that they're buying, because they don't want people to foreclose on a home in their building, because then that affects everybody else in the building. So that wants to be avoided by all means. And that's why when they see that someone is liquid enough to be able to purchase a property with cash, it's definitely going to be a bonus for sure. On the contrary, there are some buildings that will not let a unit in their building sell for a much lower price than the other ones because they don't want it to affect the market rate of all the other units in the building. I see that all the time. My clients have lost deals because of this in New York City, because the boards literally would just not let them sell at a certain price. Now, if you are purchasing the property cash, you are probably liquid and you might have some room to move around with that price to appease the board and appease the seller, of course, and get a price agreed on that everybody agrees on. So if you're looking for a major cash discount, specifically on a property in Manhattan specifically, then it could be tough because the board might have control on the price that the property sells for, and they're not willing to give you this steep cash discount, and they kind of know what you're doing. That is something to keep in mind as well. However, if you're looking in other areas outside of Manhattan, it could also apply in other areas in New York City for sure, but it might be less common. And if you're not dealing with a board at all, then that is just in between you and the seller. So that's a very different scenario. Those are all just things that I want you to think about. So when it comes to multifamilies, townhomes, or single family homes, your cash is definitely going to go a long way, and you could get some deals because you are a cash buyer. And I'm not saying that in buildings you can't get deals by also being a cash buyer. It's just going to be a little bit more complicated, especially if the board really has a stranglehold on the prices that they're willing to let the property sell for. And I know honestly that answer is very different than other places around the world where these nuances of New York City just don't exist. So I hope this helped you figure out if cash will give you a discount in New York City. And if you guys have any experiences with cash deals or have any other questions about the topic, please let me know, because as always, I love hearing from you guys.